Welcome back to the show. A Bay City museum focuses on the history of antique fire trucks, rescue vehicles, and more. Mike Snyder, board vice chair of the Antique Toy and Firehouse Museum, joins us live in studio. You brought some very neat items to bring today. Before we show those, though, tell us a little bit about the museum and how it got started.
So the museum goes back to just after the Korean War, when Mr. Jimmy Dobson from Bay City started collecting fire trucks.
Nice.
And over the years, that collection has expanded to now more than 60 full-size fire trucks and 16,000 toys.
Wow.
And that is now in the trust of a foundation, and we have a museum campus on Patterson Road in Bay City, and one that there's been a lot of publicity. We're restoring an old fire station from 1890 in downtown Bay City at Washington and Columbus Avenue.
Very neat. Well, you know, there's something in a way, I think, when it comes to fire trucks and firefighters, it brings out the kid in us all.
Absolutely.
We love seeing the big red truck. Let's go through some of the items you brought today. You were just telling me before we came back on, what are we looking at here?
Right, so every piece of history tells a story, and this is the doorknob from the old Central Fire Station that was at McKinley and Adams in Bay City.
Very cool.
There was a child who lived next door, and when that station was closed and ripped down, the doorknob was given as a gift to that child.
They saved it, and you have some information on the back.
Correct.
Too.
And on the back, what's interesting is the history that was shared here is that the fire chief in Bay City who opened this in 1917, his son closed the station in 1973. So it's kind of an interesting historical part where community and fire chiefs and legacy all come together.
What are we showing? Well, we were just showing some drawings on the screen. What were those about? There's some renderings?
So that is actually a pen and ink drawing from 1890 of the station that we are restoring.
Oh, wow.
Right now in downtown Bay City. And that's going to be part of our Washington Avenue campus, which will likely open in 2025. We've gotten the first phase of the restoration complete just about a month ago.
You're staying busy. Okay, what else do we have here on the table? These are very neat looking,
right,
very
so
heavy.
Heavy, they're cast iron. These are from the 1930s. They're made by Hubley.
Okay.
And they are, as played with toys, right? So these are not what I would call pristine, but they're really, really historically significant because they were really kind of the early part of firefighting toys. And you're absolutely right.
You can tell kids love this. They played with it for sure.
Absolutely. And they really kind of mirrored the way that fire engines looked in the late 1920s, early 1930s.
You got the classic Tonka, and you have, you said this is a mold? What is this?
So this is a pewter ice cream mold. So before World War II, ice cream making and artistic ice cream making was more of an art than a mass-produced item. And so there were many different objects, cars, fruits, and everything, but there were several in the firefighting theme, and we really work on making sure that we display that and share those kind of advances.
Now this will get your attention.
It absolutely will.
Make the noise.
So
what does it do?
Okay, so this is what's called a watchman's rattle.
Yeah.
And so, in the mid-1800s, police and guard duty would go, and if they saw a fire, they would make this racket, which would signify to the local fire stations to sound the bell to sound the alarm. This was before like game well and fire alarm telegraphy was common.
It works.
It absolutely works.
Finally, we'll end with this.
Yeah, so this is a toy. It's a fairly modern toy from 2005. It is of the Super Pumper from the city of New York, the world's largest pumper. Now the teaser here is, if this really intrigues you, it's a beautiful truck. This truck is on display at the Antique Toy and Firehouse Museum in Bay City.
Nice. Listen, we appreciate everything that you brought today. Before we let you go, where can people find out more information about the Toy and Firehouse Museum? How can they get in touch with you?
So, toyandfirehousemuseum.org, 888-888-1270. Either one of those, just reach out and we'd be more than glad to field any questions. We open for the season May 4th.
All right, so get ready. May 4th, you can take it all in. We just gave you a sampling today.
Excellent. Thank you very much.